What if I told you that the United States military has been financing all the wars from drug money, from drugs that were brought into this country? Aside from taxpayer money and war being the number one business for the U.S., that a large majority of it is from actual drug money. And that's why the war on drugs will never be fought and won.
The war is the biggest business in America, worth $80 billion a year. President Kennedy was murdered by a conspiracy that was planned in advance at the highest levels of our government, and it was carried out by fanatical and disciplined cold warriors in the Pentagon and CIA's covert operation apparatus, among them Clay Shaw here before you.
Think very carefully what he just said.
The war is the biggest business in America, worth $80 billion a year.
Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. And I want to very quickly just talk about a very touchy subject that's been rumored to be true, even though it's not conclusive. Again, this is about the what ifs. This is not something that I'm saying is true and that's it or anything like that. This is not an absolute. I heard from a couple of sources, and even one time on the Montel Williams show, where because he used to be 18 years in the military, in the Navy, I believe it was, where he actually knew about drugs being taken into this country from other places, from Mexico, from South America, or any other kind of countries. I mean, the list goes on and on. Colombia, whatever. And they would take them on the ships, and they would actually transport them into the U.S. He said something like that, and the whole entire crowd, or most of the crowd, I would say, started to go like, oh, like, hell no. Like they didn't want to believe it. And that I remember. I forgot what segment that was, and this and that, and what the topic was. The thing is, it is rumored, and I actually would have to ask you, what if you found out that the U.S. military, from all the wars that they use to finance this, aside from taxpayer money, to help fight wars over in other countries for, against communism or against, this and that, and any kind of so-called righteous cause, was actually mostly, if not half, of the reason, or half financed by drugs, or mostly, if pretty much mostly of it, by drug money, especially cocaine, heroin, which is the biggest one too. And of course, if for any of you, because I know that maybe that some of you might not don't like the fact that I'm using parts from movies, scenes from movies, in order to make a point on something. But for those of you who've seen Lethal Weapon, Part 1, when Danny Glover's character was talking to his old army buddy, and he was saying something about his this crime syndicate known as Shadow Company, and they two major shipments a year on heroin, and big huge money, and that's been used to help fight wars, not just to line the pockets of the drug dealers, and also the police officers that skim money a little bit here and there once the drugs are brought in here, and they make a profit off the drug dealers and the big time drug dealers and some of the drug lords that crossed the line, and they ended up getting indicted and have a lot of their assets seized and stuff like that. All the drug money that's from them, of course, some of the crooked cops, or a lot of the crooked cops, just take their portion of their cut, and what's left is what is used to help finance the military to go fight wars in other countries. So it's not all taxpayer money. It's most of it, if not all, or half, or something like that, I don't know, is actually from drug money. Now, I honestly don't know for sure if that's true, but I just want to know your opinion on that. And look how expensive war is, and look how the war on drugs is not getting any better. And if you've seen my last video on it, on the war on drugs, is about money. But it's, of course, there was a bunch of dollar signs, and how it would never be fought the right way, the way it's supposed to, and won. So for those of you who want to see that, to make sense of this one, I strongly advise that. The war on drugs is bullshit, because it's never gonna be resolved. Because if it does get resolved, that means it's a lot of politicians, a lot of crooked cops, FBI agents, and government agents, and crime syndicates that are connected to military will end up losing money. They'll be out of the job, pretty much. So they have to find some other scam to do, but they can't find it. They won't be able to do anything that's just as equally effective. So they're going to do whatever they can to protect it. So the cycle of this type of corruption has to keep going on and on. This cycle has to just continue and continue. Now, it may sound pretty wild for some of you. To me, I'm not making an opinion on whether or not it's actually real, or if it's actually true, because I can't claim to say that this is true without actually knowing for sure. So for those of you who will drop a comment in the comment section, or any questions, feel free to say it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you want to subscribe, it's up to you. It doesn't matter. And hopefully I hear from you. And again, to all of you, take care.